biggest thing that should come out of this, because I can tell you this from the seminars that I do, where they find the value in the information, is the information on the Pension Protection Act, which none of them know about.
Okay.
That is the law that created asset-based long-term care, the ability to own an annuity or own a life insurance policy, use the benefits from that. But because of that law, we were allowed to add riders to extend out the life of these products. From in our case, we're the only company that does lifetime. So you can cover yourself for life from one insurance policy that can be owned jointly forever, and all the money comes out income tax free.
Wow.
Forever.
That's incredible.
So you can build that off of an annuity chassis if you're not healthy or healthy enough to qualify for a life policy. The annuities are just as good. You can't do lifetime, but you can still get really good periods of time where a couple, and they don't have to be married. They can be domestic, however you want to do it. They got to be living under the same roof. Doesn't matter. I don't care what you are. So bottom line is, these people don't know this. They don't know that they can 1030. You know what 1035 is? You can take old annuities. I'm going to give you an example. Raymond James in the Villages, one of my buddies, used to work for Wells Fargo. I've known him forever. He goes, didn't you tell us about, he goes, I got 2 people in my office. Didn't you tell us there's a way to take old annuities, turn it into all tax-free? I'm like, oh yeah. So what happens is these people bought these annuities 10, 15 years ago. This guy's worth $8 million. He put $400,000 in a Lincoln American Legacy 15 years ago. You want to know what it was worth? $760. He had $360,000 taxable gain in that thing. That we're never going to touch it, Mark.
Yeah. Never.
Because they don't want the tax problem. It affects everything, right? So they're like, well, let the kids take care of it. And he goes, no, you're not. We're going to take these dollars because you don't have any long-term care in place and you're 83 years old, no underwriting. You're 83. I can, in one application, turn $760,000 into all tax-free money for you guys jointly. They're like, what?
How?
Is what they said. Is this legal? Was number 2. The answer is yes. The Pension Protection Act of 2006 created the opportunity that if you had a de minimis level of underwriting, so you know what the underwriting is? 4 questions. You're going to like this. Number 1, have you ever received formal care for any of your daily activities? No. These people were both 83. They were going to Paris the next day on a plane.
These guys are in good shape, yeah.
Have you ever been diagnosed with ALS, cognitive decline, MS, Parkinson's? No. Have you ever been diagnosed with AIDS? No. That's it.
Oh, those 4.
And then 4 is, have you ever utilized a mechanical assisting device, which would be a wheelchair, walker, scooter, or oxygen?
Not even a cane?
Not even a cane.
Oh, man.
Dude, it's automatic. Do you realize the annuities that are owned in this subdivision?
Sure.
The people don't want to touch?
Yeah.
And they never touch them. They own them in the event that they get sick and don't want to burden the kids. That's a fact.
Yeah.
That's on everybody's poll. I mean, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to just convert that to all tax free?
Yeah.
If you want, you can add a rider to it. I can make it go out a lot further, but then you got to do underwriting a little bit. The annuities, not nearly as much as the life insurance, just tough.
So what's your target market for these people? And this
50 to 87.
50 to 87-year-old in good enough health to be able to answer those questions?
Yeah, on the annuity side. If their goal is to just convert tax deferred to tax free, which is like a gift from heaven.
For them, absolutely.
For them, 87 years old.
Well, let me ask you a question. So if they die and don't...
Yeah, it just reverts back to the original LIFO, last in, first out, right?
Okay.
Which is taxable on the growth.
Okay. But it's tax-free for...
If they use it for care.
They use it for care.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty...
Dude, it's crazy. So, and then on the life side, what's amazing, if they can qualify, is we can take money from IRAs now.
Right.
And fund with qualified money and create tax-free income for life. Nobody knows that.
Right.
where's everybody's big money? In qualified accounts,
Right.
401ks
401k.
and IRAs.
Yep.
Peel off 150
Mm-hmm.
and make it a joint. You can make it joint. You can make a single loan IRA a joint product and create a lifetime of tax-free income.
Right.
I should be retired by now.
Yeah.
But the problem is it's expensive to tell a lot of people that at seminars. I mean, I don't have the budget to do big seminars.
Yeah.
To be Greg Parity up in the Villages. If I'd be competing with him, nobody up there's talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. There's like Raymond James is and LPL is.
Yeah.
But all these other guys offshoots, nobody even knows it.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing we can do today is just make them aware that this law was put in place to create a sustainable structure. Why am I saying sustainable? The old long-term care, the old traditional stuff wasn't sustainable for anyone, either the insurer or the client, because the model was bad.
Right.
It was auto insurance,
Yeah.
where your rates went up 100% every year.
Yeah.
Well, nobody wanted to own that.
Yeah.
And if you never used it, it was all lost.
Yeah.
My dad paid 5 years in the Genworth, almost 50 grand, died a week. Had a heart attack. He never made it out of ICU.
Yeah.
My mom got nothing.
Yeah.
My mom owned it though. And she lived 6 years off her 2 policies. So I'm not bashing traditional long-term care.
Yeah.
Still a place for it.
Yeah.
But what asset-based does is it creates balance. The client's going to put some money in, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always do the 4-legged chair. Front left, client's going to seed it with premium dollars. But after we spend through that, then the insurance company is going to take all the risks. If you give me $100 grand, because we get wealthy people all the time that say, I'm very wealthy. I live in Weston. We can self-insure. Well, of course you can. That's why the law was passed, because you can put the money in to start one of these things. But after $100 grand, if it's $1 million for you and your wife to get care, every bit is transferred. The risk of that million is transferred to the insurance company after 100,000. Third leg, the government says, hey, this was our idea. So we're going to let you do it income tax free for life if you're taking these benefits, which is huge.
Yeah.
The fourth leg is, oh yeah, if you never use this, we're going to let you send a tax-free death benefit to your kids.
Yeah. That's a huge kicker right there.
It's balance, right?
Yeah.
That's sustainability.
Yeah. That gives people a reason to actually have this, because if not, I mean, nobody likes paying those premiums and not getting anything out of it.
Right.
Right.
And you can pay it up front. You can do it over time. You can do it qualified or non-qualified. I mean, there's just no excuse to not be able to afford this. On the recurring payment, it's 5 years, 10 years, 20, or pay to 95. If something happens to you and you go on claim while you're making those payments, waiver premium. You don't owe us any money.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
It's a matter of people being aware of what's out there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm not saying that at all, but just know the options. This is too important. We know that 7 out of 10 people over 65 are going to need this. We just know it. If you're a couple, there's a 92% that one of you
One of the
are
two
going to need it.
Yeah.
How do you know? So to answer your initial question, Mark, it was define long-term care. And let me make this simple. Our definition, we think, is the most accurate, is it's just another bill to pay during retirement. It's just another expense during retirement. And you got to have a source of funds to access. What do we do at OneAmerica? We like to look at this as filling a gap. The gap exists between what you and your partner or spouse have in traditional retirement assets. How much income, you're paying for your trips and your grandkids and all that. That's fine. Then there's that event that could happen that's going to double or come close to doubling the amount of income you're going to need. We need to fill that gap.
Yeah.
So what we're not saying is be prepared to have a source that you can supplement 100% of this cost. No, you're already going to have Social Security, maybe some pensions, investment dollars. You've got a lot of money that you can put toward it, but maybe not 10 grand a month.
And the other thing is, even if you did have that, why would you not transfer that risk to a company that's going to take it over, as opposed to you just destroying your nest egg and your kids' inheritance, or whatever you're going to think about? Maybe, hey, kids, you're going to give this to the grandkids.
I got to tell you one hidden aspect of this. When I got the call, the call from your mom's doctor, and the doctor says, good news and bad news, Kurt. They said, Rick, in my case, your mom's great. She got through her surgery and she's going to be fine. Bad news is she can never live on her own again. I'm down here. Mom's in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah. I got a problem. I know I.
Right.
My sister was 2 hours away from her and they didn't get along at all.
Yeah.
So I fly up. We find the place. And by the way, your plan to find care should never be Google, just to let you know that. But we did Google and we found a place that was great. They said, sure, come on in Thursday, 4:00. Before you come, though, send her financial statement. So we did. I can tell you, Mom was not wealthy. She had some money, but she was not what we would call wealthy. So we get there and the lady is at the conference room table looking at my mother's financials, clearly not impressed, almost with her head in her hand. And she says, oh, thanks for coming. Good to see you both. My sister was with me. She said, but I forgot to tell you, we have a 6-month waiting list. I looked at my sister. I said, did she say anything to you about a waiting list? I knew what was going on. Yeah. I'm in the business, right? Sure. She's profiling. She said, let me ask you something.
Expedite that process, though.
Yeah. She said, does your mom have any kind of plan in place that will help her pay these bills? It was $4,800, and this was 15 years ago. And it was called catered care, and everything they did, and every month it went up a little bit, not terrible, but it went up. And I said, well, yeah, here's her Genworth. Here's her Mutual of Omaha. 3 years, 3 years. I don't know what you did with my lanyard, but she picks up her lanyard and says, you know what? Come with me. We left the conference room, walked down the hall, and went to room 134. Where my mother lived for 6 years. She flung the door open. She said, all we have to do is paint the walls, shampoo the carpet. Will this be okay? It was perfect. I said, come here. I said, that was rough. I realize what you have to do. You have to make sure these people can pay these bills. You got to find a better way to do this.
Correct.
Be honest up front. This is horrible. Yeah. My sister was flipping out. And she was nice, and she was ready to go for this woman's throat.
Right.
So what's my point? Have an advocate. You better have a plan, and you better have a group of people that are going to help you go into this. It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So what we have at OneAmerica is a 3-tiered approach to care. There's a care coordinator. So when this happens, if you own the policy, you can call OneAmerica and say, hey, I need help finding the right care level or location or both. So we have care coordination, day one on claim. We have a care concierge, which that one person, Mark, is dedicated to your mom's case.
Oh, that's good. So they're not working with a whole bunch of people they don't,
Every time we call Genworth for an answer, 20 minutes on hold. Well, the lady read the notes, got up to speed. They were great, but then they come back 20 minutes later. Okay. How can I help you? What? 20 minutes to ask a question? Every time. The third level is, this is big. It started in June at OneAmerica. We've added an informal caregiving option. So if you have family members in the early stages, while we're paying out the death benefit dollars, which we call the accelerated benefit period, AOB, you can actually have someone, a neighbor, a friend, a family member, someone from your church can provide care, and we can pay cash payments, indemnity to those caregivers. Every month, OneAmerica will offer to bring in somebody to help coach that caregiver. Do you know, if you're not a trained caregiver, there's a lot that you don't know.
Right. Totally. That's huge.
Yeah, it's such a big issue. It's such a hard process.
Yeah, getting people out of a chair or a toilet or in a bed.
Yeah, how to shower them.
Shower, dress. How about when they're lashing out and they're angry which happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You psychologically, you got to know what's going on there.
Well, let's get frustrated because their world's smaller.
Yeah. Oh, it's there.
They are
They're afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid. It's super hard for them.
So, but the informal thing is good. We've also added in a layer of independent providers. So we don't have to have a licensed bonded agency anymore, with someone with any kind of healthcare designation. So an LPN, RN, senior care consultant. There's a list about that long. Basically anybody with a designation that has 40 hours of training on how to take care of seniors can provide the care through the life of the contract.
Well, that's good.
So you've seen some claims occur. What have you? So one of the things in Wealth Dynasty, which is the name of our podcast, one of the things we're concerned about is family legacy. So let's talk a little bit about how long-term care benefits help with family legacy. Not only the financial piece, but let's talk about how it helps families down the road, emotionally deal with this and how they deal with it personally.
Well, the family element to this is huge, because you have big families or sometimes small. My sister and I were 1,100 miles apart. How are we going to coordinate this? Knowing that she had these plans in place took the fear that one of us would be responsible financially. And then there's that fairness question, right? Well, he's down there in Florida. He's not dealing with this. But it was okay because the money part was taken care of. That was that's what causes the strife in a family. And the fact that, hey, if there's some residual, if she doesn't use this for care, there is a wealth transfer element to this with asset-based long-term care. And it's usually really nice and it's tax-free.
Yeah.
So you could pay off maybe unpaid bills or estate tax or something like that. So there's a wealth transfer, but that only exists, Kurt, if they don't use the death benefit up for care.
Right.
But that's okay.
Well, if they use care,
you're protecting the
portfolio.
portfolio.
All that portfolio has been saved from destruction by
absolutely
long-term care.
Absolutely.
And I was a little shocked when you said how your experience was when you went to the place, and obviously that lady she was out for blood. Okay, and she was looking how she going to make this profitable for her situation.
She was protecting her enterprise.
Yeah.
Right? As we have to when we do our underwriting.
Yeah.
We have to underwrite for these products.
But my point is that, she wasn't looking out for your mom.
No.
That wasn't her interest.
Honestly, no. But they did. Once they knew she could pay the bills, they were phenomenal.
Right.
How money moves the world.
I think it's an expensive proposition, man. These people need to be fed and taken care of.
Yeah, their medications on time and multiple times.
Yes. But they were great. It was honestly my mother's best years of her life. Healthiest. Wow. She wasn't the healthiest person. She was old school. And there wasn't want to do any of that. Right?
That's good. Yeah.
It was a little bit of a period there. It was pretty rough. But when you have the bottle, she got through it, and it worked out great. She was so healthy. She died at 92. Okay. She had about 3 weeks of ill health. Yeah. Her brain tumor, didn't know it. And she was dead in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But loved it there.
That's great.
That's good news.
It was great. So,
and then a lot of people don't have that success story.
No,
they go,
you're right.
The struggle.
You're right.
Don't have this option.
It's never great always, but she complained about the food. I'll be honest.
Yeah. Right. That's got to happen.
She was Greek and her father owned restaurants all over. Yeah. So we were foodies, and she was not a fan of the food there.
Well, I've seen, I've seen young people that need long-term care have strokes or something like that when they're laid up for years.
This is awful.
It's a horrible experience. They're bedridden for years.
And they wipe out whatever the family had. That's what this is really all about. So let's kind of review then. The law that created this allows us to fill the gap, because getting up the mountain's easy. It's getting down the mountain where you run into trouble. In reality, when people mountain climb, all the deaths occur on the way down. Well, in financial planning, it's easy to save and defer and compound and invest and get there. But now, what are the pitfalls on the way down? Well, this is the biggest issue.
It is
clearly the biggest threat to retirement.
Yeah.
So whether it's us whether it's asset-based long-term care, traditional, have a plan and have it tax-free.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to start taking out a bunch of money and pay taxes on it either.
Yeah, then you're getting eaten up from both sides.
You throw yourself into a nightmare
Yeah.
from your federal, state if it applies. But the big one is your level of Social Security taxation.
Correct.
If you've got too much income, they're going to crush you.
I think a lot of people think about that also, because when you're drawing an additional income, that's going to mess up with your Social Security benefits. A lot of people don't even think about
Medicare Part B.
Medicare Part B, IRMA.
Oh, extra expensive.
By the way, I am a Medicare recipient. I am there. I turned 66 last Tuesday, so I'm
Happy birthday.
right. It's just it's fun to be able to come out and talk to you and make sure that these messages and this information is out to the public. The last thing, we've all heard the horrors of Alzheimer's, and I don't spend a lot of time talking about it merely because it's so damn depressing.
Yeah.
So there's a little good news, but it's kind of a double-edged issue, and there's a new drug that's out. And for your listeners, they need to know this. It is called Leqembi, Leqembi. It's manufactured by Lilly. It's on the market. It's covered by Medicare. It's over $3,000 a month. The good news, reduces symptoms by about a third for a while in early stages. And also we're seeing some prolonging of life, which is good.
Yeah, especially if it's quality of life.
Well, true. So that's kind of good news, but it's going to create longer periods of time that people will require care.
Correct.
Which is where our lifetime benefit becomes really important. Is our oldest claim at OneAmerica is 20 years. It has been paying 6, 8, 10 grand a month for 20 years.
Yeah, run those numbers.
Run those numbers is exactly right. So glad that at least science is trying to find some help here, but there's no cure. And I don't know that it's really on the horizon. So that is an issue. As I said, I don't like talking about it because it is pretty daunting. I think if people get too afraid of it, they just shut down and go, the heck with it. I'm not going to even worry about this. I'm just going to go with what happens.
You can't fix what they can't fix.
You can't fix what you can't fix. So, sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Oh, that's good. That's really good stuff. My question, I guess, would be for the younger generation. Like my mom just started receiving Medicare. And what would you suggest, like as far as myself, which I will have to take care of her as she gets advanced in age, and what would, I guess, how could I start that conversation with her, and what products maybe I should put in place at my age of 40, 41?
Clearly getting ahead of this at your age is miraculous, because pricing at your age is phenomenal. It helps to create tremendous benefits at your age. So if you can do it even on an annual basis, it's the way to go. For her, I think to start the conversation is, look, I'm going to be here for you, and I never want you to worry about that. But I may need help. And home care is certainly part of this. It almost always starts at home in all of our products. There's no elimination period or waiting period for home care. We start paying the bills automatically.
Oh, that's good.
It's a big deal. So we could pay you, Mark, cash to take care of her for up to 3 years. So maybe she could stay at home for a while if you're around to be able to help. Or you could bring somebody in. Doesn't have to be a professional, right? So we've got that covered. So I think if you tell her under the law what we're able to do and how the products have evolved to help your exact situation, you can help some, but not all, because you still have to do your job, right?
Sure.
And go to work. But you could bring people in and be paid to do that.
That's good.
Until your health declines to such a point that we've got to have some professional help. So there's that crossover point. Our research indicates that it's about 3 years. That it's a combined thing. It's phenomena. The caregiver becomes exhausted, and his or her life becomes so upset that we got to have professionals, or that their health declines in such a way that 3 years is kind of the crossover point there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I would lay that out to your mom and just say, here's what we know. Here's what the data tells us. Here's what I can do for you. I might need some help and I might need to get paid for it.
Correct.
But at some point, Mom, if you're 82, I'm going to need help.
Yeah, you're not going to want me changing your diapers either.
No, it's not going to. You wouldn't want it, and I don't want it. So let's just
keep our dignity, both.
Yeah, dignity is a big word here. So, man, it's unpleasant to talk about, but it's so great that there's people like you who want to bring it out there.
Correct.
And have it a point of conversation and not be afraid of it. It's fine. Let's talk about this. It's only money.
Triggering a claim. Tell me a little bit how that works. Like
all these products, the trigger for asset-based long-term care is the inability to perform 2 of 6 daily activities. Tell you what that is. Bathing. Everything you do in the morning, Kurt. Bathing, dressing, eating, feeding yourself, being able to do that. Bathrooming, which is the verbal form of getting up and down on a toilet.
Yeah.
Continence, and transferring, which is getting in and out of bed on your own. That's a problem with some people. So if they can't do 2 of those 6 physical things, that money is coming out after a doctor says Kurt can't, feed himself, get a meal prepared, and dress himself. Boom. That's 2. You're good to go. Or the most important thing is any one single cognitive event. Doesn't have to be Alzheimer's.
Tell me about
it can just be cognitive.
What are those cognitive events that are qualifying?
Well, cognitive decline.
Okay.
It's measured by a very simply administered test. I'll tell you what it is. It's kind of sad if you ever witness it. I sat down with my mom in a conference room with an occupational therapist. They gave her the face of a clock with no hands. They said, okay, Rita, and if you're listening, you remember this, draw 3 o'clock. With big hand and little hand. She stared at it. She couldn't do it.
Wow.
So they said, okay, here's a simple maze. 3-year-old could have traced out of it with a pencil. She couldn't do it. Check. Cognitive decline.
Yeah.
It was sad. It was one of the saddest days of my life.
Now, would a stroke or something like that be?
No, she never had a stroke. It was just.
But would that be a qualifying?
Oh gosh.
Event? Yeah.
Well, if that stroke created an inability to do those daily activities.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
It's hard and fast along those 6 daily activities.
Okay.
Or a proven cognitive deficiency. So that's the trigger. And
for other people, I mean, they'll be old because people can have claims as well.
Absolutely. God forbid, but
they could get a brain tumor, all kinds of things that happen.
Right.
In human bodies.
Right.
And that are doing their normal activity.
Yeah. So if you're paying annually for this, and by the way, this is important to know, these products are all what we call non-cancelable products, meaning they can never be altered by the insurance company. We can never raise it a penny. And they can't change their premiums. It's all set in stone under the law, right? So here's what's really important. If you're paying annually, let's say you're set up, Mark, you say, 20 years, I can handle this. I'll be working for the next 20 years. I'm going to make a payment every year. We're going to be golden. God forbid it, 52, you have a stroke and you have to go on claim. There is a built-in waiver of premium, which will stop you from making premium payments forever.
That's incredible.
And you own that product, not just for you, but if your wife is on there with you, she owns it.
Wow.
Financing long-term care, there's almost no excuse for not being able to own it because there's so many flexible ways to do it. That annual pay could be monthly. You could pay for it monthly, quarterly, annually. But people really like to get it done and get it out of the way with a single check. And by the time they're 50, 60, you generally can do it, right? And you don't need as much money if you're 50 or 55 as you would at 60 or 65 or clearly 70. Yeah. So it's not as expensive maybe as some people think, But if you
What do you do with expensive? Let's talk about ballpark. What are we looking at here? Like ballpark for, let's say a ballpark for 40, ballpark for 50, ballpark for 60-year-olds. What does that look
yeah, as a single premium or over
like?
time?
Like an annual premium. What does that look
Yeah,
like?
I think in our examples in our client seminar, we used 49-year-olds, and I want to say it's $7,500 a
Yeah,
year
that's not even bad.
for
Yeah.
two people.
Yeah, that's not even bad.
And it's like $8,000 a month forever. Getting to it early is
Yeah.
huge.
So,
Oh,
one question, I know inflation's a big deal. We've had a lot of price for years. And how does that get mitigated?
Yeah, it's a good question. Almost everybody, I can't think of a firm that doesn't do it, has an option for an inflation rider. We allow a 2% inflation, 3%, or even a 5% inflation. Now, it adds to the cost for sure.
Right.
But man, we just did my wife's with OneAmerica, and she has a long history of longevity with the women in her family. Her mother is 93. She looks 63.
Wow.
Here in Fort Lauderdale, by the way. Her grandmother lived to be 103. So Kelly's 63 and is in crazy perfect health. So I planned everything for 20 years from now. She'll be covered if something happens tomorrow, but we added a 3% inflation rider and it almost doubles.
The
I
brain.
think it did double.
Sure, 18 years.
Yeah. What would be available for her.
Oh, that's great.
And we can do that today, even at 63 with I think our premium's going to be 116,000, which is manageable.
Wow.
Totally manageable. And then I can die. And then I don't have to worry. My dad's biggest question to me in the ICU was, is she going to be okay? I said, she's going to be fine. We got this.
Yeah.
And then he died.
That's good. Let him go in peace.
Go in peace. Don't worry about it. We got it. So that is really, really powerful. I'm so glad you brought up inflation riders because they make all the difference on these things. At some point though, like early 70s, I try to shy away and have them solve for a pretty hefty amount today. Not everything that would be potentially needed, but maybe 6,000 or 7,000 a month today. That's a big head start, man. Especially for two people.
Yeah.
It's a big head start that could be added to their other assets to pay for these things.
Yeah, that's huge. So what does the process of financing look like and who would be able to qualify for financing in these plans?
Well, again, we have two versions. We have the asset care, which is a second to die whole life policy. So they'd have to go through underwriting, and it's pretty hefty. It's a cognitive screen. So there's a phone call. We're going to ask all about their doctors, their meds, what things have popped up through the years. And we're going to probably ask for doctor records. I mean, it's an underwriting process.
Yeah.
On the annuity side, not probably less than half of that. So much easier. Why? Because we're not providing a tax-free death benefit in the amount of death. It's just contract value. Whatever you haven't used goes to the kids, which is okay. Nothing's lost.
Yeah.
But there's no built-in tax-free death benefit like you get on a life insurance. Yeah. So we can pivot, which is great about OneAmerica. We're the only company that can pivot to either or.
Yeah.
And then set up the payments based on, their financial health. We're really flexible, really, really flexible. So,
and as you mentioned before, you could use annuities, you could use qualified money. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah, use the old annuities that are still sitting around. Kurt, they're dead assets. They're dead because the first money out of those old annuities are going to be taxable. They're not going to use them. So to be able to rescue that annuity, and I call it the annuity rescue plan, to unlock all that money to be used for care, it's huge.
Yeah.
What's really great is a lot of these annuities are single owned. So maybe the husband owns, maybe the wife owns it, but it's only in her name. So they will say to me, well, is it only going to cover me? So when we do a 1035 exchange under the law, we bring it over single life to single life. But on our application, this is big. On our application, we have a line that says eligible person. And you put that spouse on there, the partner, and now you own a joint-owned annuity.
That's incredible. From a single.
It's great.
Either one of them has
Yes.
playing.
You share that pool
Share that
of whatever that of those assets.
tax.
Tax-free. Our annuity care 2 product, I love it. It's kind of my favorite because it's leverage. So if you gave me $200,000, Kurt, and you're 69 years old or younger, we're going to quadruple that pool of money. Now you have $800,000 worth of tax-free money that you and your wife can use for care.
That would require some underwriting.
It does, because we're adding the rider. But again, not nearly what the asset care would do, because it's a life insurance policy. So again, pivot. So leverage, yeah. If you're 70 or older, it's 2.5 times, which is still great, because these balances on these annuities are huge. So if you had 300,000, we're going to turn it into more than 6.
And if it's a single life, you can pivot to the eligible partner, eligible BD as well on these.
Yeah.
So in other words, it might be a $300,000 pot of money, but you're turning into $600,000
For both of them to share. It's what we call a shared pool. That's really, because look, here's the truth.
Yeah,
the honest,
your money off of this.
The honest truth, us 3 girls sitting here, right? We're not going to need it. Probably not going to need it. If we do, it's for a short time.
Yeah.
We don't live as long.
Yeah.
I was at my favorite aunt up in Chicago this weekend, went to see her at her very nice assisted living. There was one guy in the dining room, and there was probably 35 women.
Lucky guy.
What's really fun are these, if you want to do a lunch and learn or something, breakfast, Danish and coffee. I do my seminars the same way I'm talking to you guys. I know it all in my head.
Yeah.
I do have, overhead stuff that helps guide the presentation along, but when you do it like this, people become very comfortable with it. And then,
well, that's the thing, and then that's what we're trying to do with our podcast with the Wealth Dynasty, is really about helping people understand and be comfortable with different, and not only be comfortable, but also see all their options, because the lack of education is a huge problem.
it's the biggest.
Yeah. When people, I don't know what I don't know.
Right.
So,
fear, worry,
and stigma, because you think.
And just trust.
Correct.
Because people just are not super fond of insurance companies.
For sure.
So I like talking about the law, the Pension Protection Act, because that's Congress saying you're going to do it our way. And if you do it our way, it's going to work. And generally, you don't think of the government being responsible, things that work tremendously. But in this case, they nailed it.
That's good.
They absolutely nailed
That's
it.
great. So thanks again for listening, guys. Appreciate your time today. And you could just tell this guy lives his long-term care. He does this all day. He's been doing this for years. He really, really knows his stuff. He had such great points. And my favorite part was about the new products and new options that people have nowadays, as opposed to just putting all that money into long-term care. And it's a waste of money at the end if you never use it, which obviously that traditionally has been a huge problem in the industry. But now there's so many more products that you're going to get the money and even more out of it. And so great options, great benefits, great, tax information there also.
The tax information is astounding. It just shows that even though the government can't afford to provide long-term care benefits like you do for Medicare or Medicaid, but they're giving people the opportunity to leverage the money and reduce the tax burden on it. So it's a huge benefit.
That's awesome. All right, well, thanks, and we'll see you next time on the next one.